Welcome to another tutorial on how to manage your school's WordPress website. My name is Chris. Today we are going to be talking about menus. Usually what I like to do is come up here to the school name in this network bar, and I right click it and choose Open Link in New Tab. That way I can bounce back and forth between the front end of the website here and the admin area of the website back here. So menus, what are they exactly? Menus are basically a custom structure on your website that lets you put pages or posts or pretty much whatever you want up here. You have two parts in each template. You have a primary navigation and a secondary navigation down below it. The simplicity template, I'll show you here. The simplicity template, I recommend just using the primary one. I think that's the way it looks the best, and usually you can organize your menus in such a way that you don't have to have a secondary one. The other templates look good with two. So let's go back. Here we go. So your menus can be organized via the appearance area. If you hover over appearance in the admin section and choose menus, you will arrive on the menus page. So you have two parts to a menu area. You have a location and then you have the content. This section over here to the right is how you manage the content. Notice that I have created a primary navigation tab and a secondary navigation tab. This again is the content. Over here to the left we have the location. So it tells me that my theme supports two menus. Oh, great. Well, we knew that, right? We have the primary navigation and the secondary navigation. Those are the two menus that it supports. And it tells you that you can support, or you can assign any of these content areas to the right to any of the locations here. So notice in the primary navigation menu location, I can assign either the primary navigation content or the secondary navigation content. In the secondary navigation menu location, I can assign either the primary navigation content or the secondary navigation content. Now, I want the primary navigation content in the primary navigation location. And I also want the secondary navigation content in the secondary navigation location. If we want to change the content of the primary navigation, we need to make sure its tab is selected over here to the right. If we want to change the content of the secondary navigation, we need to select the tab for secondary navigation. Let's go ahead and show you how to manage your menus via the secondary navigation. And it's the same no matter which tab you have selected, primary or secondary. So over here to the right we have an archive page, a calendar page, and a resources page in the secondary navigation. Let's just visit the front end of the website to be sure we're there. Yep, we have archive, calendar, and resources. So over here to the left you have a listing of pages. By default it goes to the most recent, which doesn't mean it shows you all of the pages necessarily. What you can do though is click this View All, which is my preferred method because it gives me a hierarchical view of the pages on my website. And that way I can decide which page I want to add to my secondary navigation menu. Let's see, we already have archive, calendar, and resource. For example purposes, I'm going to go ahead and add the community page. Although I do believe that is already in the primary. So I've added the community page. Notice that it's added directly underneath resources. If I were to save my menu like this, notice as I refresh the front end of the website, it's going to show up on the same level as archive, calendar, resources, and community. Let's add some more pages. I want to add the sub-pages or the child pages of community. So let's select Alumni, Community Council, and PTA. And click Add to Menu. Okay. Again, if I were to save my menu like this, Alumni, Community Council, and PTA would all show up on the same level as community. They would all show up here, here, and here. But we don't want that. We want them to be nested underneath community. You can do that fairly easily. Notice if you hover over any one of these boxes that have been added to the secondary menu that your cursor turns into this four-headed arrow. This is a designation that means you can drag and drop. So let's take alumni. I click it and hold, and I drag. Now notice that a dashed box displays. That is an indication of where it's going to drop when you depress the mouse. So I'm going to let go of the mouse and it's going to drop in that boxed area. Same with Community Council. I'm going to drag it to the right, make sure it's going to fall there. PTA, drag to the right. This way you can also drag and drop up and down, order the pages that you want, and even make nested items. I wouldn't recommend doing that. That gets to be a pain in the butt. But over here to the left, there you go. Now we have Community, Alumni, PTA, and Community Council. Let's save the menu. Alright, I've saved the menu. Now notice, as I hover over Community, that Alumni, PTA, and Community Council all display. That's basically all there is to the basic setup of your menus. Let's go into a little bit more detail of how to figure out what's going on in your menu structure. First off, automatically add new top-level pages. This checkbox right here automatically will add a page to your menu on the page's creation. So if you're over here in Pages and you add new, if the automatically add new pages checkbox is checked, once that page is published, it will automatically be added to the menu. Second, notice that you also have custom links right here. Custom links lets you add a web address to anywhere online to your menus. So for example, I could add a link to homestarrunner.com. I have no idea why I'm always using homestarrunner.com in my examples. I haven't been there in years. It's just the first thing that always comes to my head. Label Homestar Runner. I'm not quite sure how to spell it. Then click Add to Menu. Notice now that Homestar Runner has been added to the menu. If I want to edit that, I can. Over here to the right on each of these, notice that there's this arrow. If I click it, it expands this box. So there we go. I can change that S to a lowercase s. Let's say, for example, I got the URL wrong. Maybe there's no www in there. I could do that. Also, if I wanted to remove any menu item from my menu, I can. I expand the box again, and then I click this remove. There you go. Also notice over here to the left you can add categories to your menus. So any category that you have in your posts, you can add. That way people can easily, for example, if you have blog, and I don't do this, but if you had blog, you could have a drop-down menu item of all the different categories in your blog so people can easily get there that way. Next up, you might want to understand is that over here to the right on this content management area, there's this plus tab. Notice if I hover over it, the tooltip there says add menu. If I click that, I'm going to leave this page because I didn't do anything that I want to save the changes for. It gives me the option of creating a new menu. Let's call this one Helpful Links. There we go. So now I have a menu called Helpful Links. Notice it gets put up here with primary navigation and secondary. Also notice now in this theme locations area, I can choose helpful links to display in either the primary or the secondary menu area. So helpful links. Let's see. Let's say I have a link to a math website. I'm going to click math website, put it in there. Or let's say I have a link to an English website, and I'm just putting these pound symbols in there as a placeholder. And maybe there's also a helpful link for learning the planets. So maybe space.com or something, right? Learn about planets. There we go. So now in helpful links, I have created math website, English website, and learn about planets. Notice over here to the right, it tells me that this is a custom link. Right there, custom, custom, custom. That means that this menu item was created via the custom links. Let's save that menu. Now that it's saved, I'm going to pop over here to the primary just so you can see. Notice the home is a custom, about our school has a page, which means it was created by this pages item. Category right here, that means news was created via the news category right there. So there's lots of different ways, and it tells you it's as helpful as it can be as to where these were created from, so you know what's going on if you have something named the same thing but from two different places. So helpful links. I've created the helpful links menu. Let's change out the primary navigation so you can see how that works. I'm going to choose helpful links in the primary navigation and click save. Visit the front end of the website and refresh the page. Now notice everything that was in helpful links is now displaying in the primary navigation area. Let's change that back to the primary navigation though. Okay. So what can we do with this helpful links menu? We really don't want to change out the primary navigation or the secondary navigation. Well, you have a widget, and we'll get into widgets in another tutorial here. But really quick, you have a widget that is called custom menu right here. I'm going to expand my primary sidebar, and I'm going to take the custom menu widget and drag it into there. Now I'm going to say links for students, and I'm going to select the menu I want. Notice I can select helpful links, primary navigation, or secondary navigation. I'm going to choose helpful links and save. Now I have in my primary sidebar a custom menu called links for students, and let's go check it out, and we will view it on this Muffin Man Resigns post. So now I have a menu created in my sidebar, links for students. There you go. One other thing that you might want to know, and that is how to create a menu item that is non-clickable. So let's say in your secondary navigation you want a menu item right here that's just a placeholder. You can do that. It's a fairly quick process. Basically, you just put a pound sign in your custom links and then you label it what you want. Non-clickable menu item. And then I'm going to add to menu. Now that it's been added to the menu, I expand it and I simply remove the URL and save the menu. And now I have a non-clickable menu item. Notice that there is no URL. Let's go visit it on the website and check it out. So the non-clickable menu item, because there's no URL associated with it, all it is text. Well, that's it for menus. If you have any questions, let me know. You can contact me via the communications department. Thanks for watching.